Hey, Scott.
Good morning. How are you guys?
We're doing all right.
well.
People here in D.C. fired up. Number one, because of Jayden Daniels. Number two, 7-2 start, first time since 1996. And now they add Marshon Lattimore. What was your take on that move?
Yeah, I figured it would be a move that Adam and DQ were trying to make because it's a one of the few spots on their team where they could find an upgrade that was available or improvement for their football team. So my big, I was most surprised with the impact that it was going to have on the salary cap of the Saints, right? It almost looked like a contract and a circumstance and a situation that was not going to be able to be done, from the Saints standpoint. But they did it. They moved on from their head coach. They made a lot of change, but a lot of things they're going to be living with the Saints for a long time. But if you're a Commanders fan, who cares? We got our guy. We're better. And he's going to help improve that football team. And, spending the time with Dan Quinn like I did, Lattimore fits right into what he wants the way he wants things done, what he wants done. And DQ also has there's certain veteran players that he wants and he wants to have around for a multitude of reasons. The big one being that they will carry his message. Even if it's a player that maybe hasn't been with him, they're ready to help him lead the team.
When you look at this Commanders team in the NFC, they're the number 2 seed right now. How do you see them? I mean, the Lions look like they're the best team, but where do you stack the Commanders?
I'm not good at that. Forgive me, but I don't get into those kind of things because the way it is today on November 6th isn't going to be how it's in a month from now, and then even the last week in December, and then even into the playoffs. And to stack teams, right? I think they're a good football team that appears to be good and also getting better. So to me, there's teams that are at the top right now, and we see this every year. I'm not trying to avoid the question. I just know that I've seen it way too many times in the NFL where teams are in September, where they are in October, November. Those things don't necessarily matter other than, where they get stacked in terms of home field advantage and stuff. So the bottom line, here's what I think. I think the Commanders are a good football team that are getting better, and everyone should be encouraged.
Scott, some Commanders fans say it's a very small percentage. They say, we gave up too much for a guy. But I don't think that's true because even though they gave up a third and a fourth, they're not getting a rental. It's not like he's a free agent at the end of the year. His contract goes through 26. So you're getting
Correct. So
it's kind of part of this building block that Adam Peters is trying to establish. And just talk specifically about Lattimore and why he's so good at what he does.
Well, first to address the first part, there's short-term deals, there's long-term deals, but people very often won't talk about the transitional deals that need to last a few years, like you're saying. So they've got him through 26. He's going to be a part of their football team. He's going to be a part of their culture for the next couple of years. He's still at an age where they can get a number of, very good years out of him, I think. So to me, this is a smart move. I don't think that they gave up too much. And Adam Peters, I'll say this, Adam started off as an entry-level department. And one of the things about our culture that he understood was building for the now and building for the future, right? This isn't just Dan Quinn. This isn't just Adam Peters. This is a collaboration, and they have a lot of aligned and shared ideas. And I think to go back to the question where, we asked, why is he good? We just started. He's 28. He's a really good football player. He's played in games. He's played in big games. And he's got tools. He's got talent, but he also plays in a style. Right? Dan Quinn always talks about a style of play. We've seen Marshon, aside from his talent and how good he can play, he likes to play aggressive. He likes to push the envelope. He sometimes gets a little chippy. That's part of the personality and attitude that Dan Quinn wants. That's why he's important to this football team and really going to help them. Dan Quinn likes to play fast and furious, and that's what Lattimore does, and that's going to just, again, accentuate and show his locker room. These are the type of players that we are looking for.
Mm-hmm. Joined by Scott Pioli, NFL Network analyst. Giants-Panthers airs Sunday at 9:30 Eastern on NFL Network from Munich. So right before Halloween, you tweeted, Jayden Daniels is showing the NFL what he's capable of, but to the folks at LSU football, it's not surprising. I mean, I'm really impressed by the fact that he just doesn't turn the ball over, and his poise is he's just wise beyond his years. Like, he seems unflappable when he's out on the field. Talk to us about what you've seen from Jayden and what you gleaned from the people there when you visited LSU.
Yeah, well, first go back a couple of years, and I know some fans have heard this story. I don't get tired of telling it, but I worked for Brian Kelly as a consultant in the LSU football program the last couple of years. So it was the 2 full years, or the 2 years that Jayden was there, and he was a player that Brian wanted me to spend time with right out of the gate. So I got to know him, and I'll just say this, for those who don't know him, what you see in terms of his humility, in terms of his faith, in terms of his thoughtfulness and intelligence, it's all real. It's 100% real. And there was a day I was down there at LSU and I had to do my normal Tuesday morning Good Morning football hit. I was in Central Time, so I had to be in there really early. I had to set up my whole deal. And I got in a little bit after 5 o'clock local time, so, still 6 o'clock my time. And as I'm setting up, I get done setting up the team room where I'm going to do my hit from, and I walk out in the hallway, and here comes Jayden out of one of the positional meeting rooms with 2 guys that I know aren't coaches. And he goes, "Hey, Pioli, what's up?" I said, "Hey, Jayden, what's going on?" And I see he has these virtual reality goggles.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at him, I said, "Oh, you're doing that virtual reality stuff." Kind of in a wise guy way. I said, "Come on, man." And the 2 guys take off, and they head off in their direction. I said, "What did you really learn today?" And I'll never forget, his eyes I don't know if you've seen him, you ask him a question where he gets excited, his eyes get really big. He said, "You know what? I've never been to Starkville." He said, "But this morning I sat there and I did all the virtual reality stuff in Starkville, Mississippi State. I know what the cowbells sound like. I know where the play clocks are. I know how deep the sideline is. I know how deep the sideline is in the corner." He had the entire stadium mapped out, and he had never been there yet. And people say, "Well, what does that mean?" That tells you that here's a guy that does everything he can do to prepare for circumstances and situations. And as we know in this game, so many situations dictate who wins the game and how you perform in situations under duress. I think part of the reason he looks unflappable is because he's done all the work. He is prepared. He is as good a person in terms of preparation that I've ever been around. But here's the other thing he did. Malik Neighbors didn't have the work habits that he has now. Brian Thomas didn't have. He started bringing people along with him, and not by pulling them along. They just wanted to be like Jayden, and I think he's doing that down there. I've talked to Cliff Kingsbury, and Cliff says this guy's, the hours that he wants to be in the office are crazy. So I just think that preparation is so important. I was around a guy who I knew had impeccable preparation, Tom Brady, and I know what Peyton Manning's preparation was like. This guy has it to that level.
Scott, last question. We know you got to run and catch a flight, but
those are pretty big comps, by the way.
I like them.
Scott, just kind of.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to. I'm saying his preparation's like it. That doesn't mean his career's going to end up like it. But he's putting himself in a place to perform like that. I'm always careful about comparing players. What I'm doing is I'm comparing their work ethic.
No, I hear you.
And those things.
I'm just hyping it up. I just like what I heard, so I'm making it sound bigger than it is.
Hey, Scott, real quick, just kind of bypassing the Steelers game. And I know the Commanders coaching staff isn't overlooking the Steelers, but just looking forward to next Thursday when the Commanders play in Philly. Now that Lattimore's there, I kind of think that that's one move they made because they know they got to play Philly twice, maybe even 3 times. Who knows? But just talk about the matchup that you see Washington and Philly now that Lattimore's there.
Yeah, I think it's good. It helps their chances. Whatever their chances were going to be, I think they got better with the addition of Lattimore. But it's not just the Eagles, right? They got to play the Eagles twice.
Yeah.
But, they've got the Cowboys twice. And you never know what you're going to get out of the Cowboys, right? They're one of those teams, they can show up one week and then be nothing the next week. You just don't know. So they've got a number of games and they're preparing for, let's hope for you all, January football. So it's a move for now, but it's a move for the future.
Scott, we appreciate the time, man. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule, and we'll be looking forward to watching Giants-Panthers early football. I love 9:30 kicks from overseas.
Guys, thanks so much for having me. Anytime, I appreciate being on with you. And I can't say how much I support DQ, Adam Peters, Cliff, the whole crew there. There's so many people that I have so much respect for. It's good to see the Commanders playing good, solid, dependable football again.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
All right. Have a good flight, Scott.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, guys.
Mm-hmm.
First class, I'm sure.
What do you mean?
You think he flies? You think he flies with peasants?
Didn't you say he was flying to Munich? Is that where he's going?
I don't know if he's flying to Munich or not.
Okay,
that I don't know.
I'm pretty sure Scott Pioli will never fly with the steerage ever again.
He doesn't know what
no matter where he's going.
He doesn't know what lining up in a Southwest queue even is. Like if you ask him what that he would walk by that in the airport like, what are those people doing? What is that scrum over there? What are those towers with the numbers on them? You just can't relate.
You gotta love to hear that about your guy, JD5, that he's up there in terms of preparation with Tom Brady.
Right.
Well, here, how about
Peyton
this?
Manning.
And the fact that it's working on guys like Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas, like making them look at him and say, well, I need to prepare like him.
I'm just speaking off the top of my head here, so you can mock me and everything else. I'm gonna attempt to get over my skis here for a second on purpose. So he just compared Jayden's work ethic, right? Mm-hmm. To
Manning
two of the greatest of all time, and Brady and Peyton,
who are known for work ethic.
Known for their work ethic.
How
about I would say
athleticism.
His pure athleticism and skill and toolbox
100 times better.
It's probably better than both those guys. His total toolbox
because of his athleticism. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, he doesn't have all the Super Bowls and, he doesn't have any of the accomplishments yet.
He's just starting out.
The work ethic is eerily similar to those guys, and his talent, as I would argue, greater than those guys. Those guys just maximize their talents, right?
I mean, Tom Brady was
with the hard work and everything they put into it and everything, but no one would compare them athletically to Jayden. I mean, that's actually laughable.
They're bigger.
Okay, they're a little bit bigger, a little sturdier. Even Tom, who was a scrawny.
Tom was skinny, but
he
tall.
Was scrawny.
And they were just brilliant minds of the game.
Brilliant minds.
They could see the game
looks like this
different than other quarterbacks could.
He's got the brilliant mind, too, it looks like.
So far. Can't argue with it.
Dude, we might really have something over here.
He's just trying to force us to say something that he wants to hear.
I'm just getting excited.
He's been excellent. It's undeniable that he's been excellent so far.
He compared him off the field and just sort of preparation-wise, and we've said it before. At least I've made a point of saying it. The GOATs, the greatest of all time, they outwork everybody. Mm-hmm. He's in that outwork everybody mode, and he also happens to have unreal talent.
He's off to a great start.